Hey, welcome back to Screen Crush. I'm Ryan Airy, and this is all of the Easter eggs, references, and little things you might have missed in Gen V Episode 5. So this episode had some major revelations about this universe and introduced a couple of big new mysteries. Who is behind the virus? Who is Marie's secret benefactor? And we are going to go back through the season and look at all the clues that it has been Kate the whole time. It's been Agatha all along. And guys, thanks for watching and supporting our channel, and if you like, you can visit our merch store where you can get your very own God You shirt. The link is in the description. Let's dive in. Episodes of Gen V and The Boys always do a great job of having the beginning and the ending mirror each other in ironic or appropriate ways. This episode begins with Andre waking up with Kate after she made him forget, and the episode ends with Kate putting Andre in a kind of sleeping trance that makes him remember. And this whole episode is a pretty relatable college experience. You went to a party, you woke up the next day, and you're trying to piece together the remnants of what happened the night before.
I'm still drunk from last night.
The aftermath of a party always has this very surreal feeling, like you're being born again or you're coming home from war or summer camp. And I think that this opening captures that feeling really well because it adds this superhuman element when they realize that they have lost days instead of just hours.
It's like Friday. It's fucking Saturday.
Or slowly piecing together what happened after the end of episode 4. And the opening does a great job of placing the viewer in the same perspective. There's weird goop on the ceiling, there's strange sounds, we don't know where we are, and we're given small glimpses of the surroundings, like how there's like beer logos on the wall. And this helps us to slowly piece together what happened after the end of episode 4. Andre works out pretty fast that they're in Dusty's house.
Dusty's house?
Yeah, it's Dusty's.
Dusty is like one of those college kids who never got over graduating, who just keeps throwing parties well into his 30s.
Not a kid, he's like 28.
Yeah, I still.
In the hallway, we see the same creepy R.A. Sloan, and in this episode, it turns out that while he is creepy,
sometimes I hide in the women's showers and watch girls jerk off, and sometimes I hide in the men's.
he's also a very good R.A.
It's on you. You're the one who turns into a dude to hook up with her. This is your hang-up.
In the bedroom where Marie and Jordan wake up together, notice there's posters of Queen Maeve, Starlight, Homelander, and these two tigers nuzzling, a metaphor for these two alpha heroes hooking up together. Now the room itself is much nicer than the rest of the house, with a more feminine look than we see elsewhere. There's the arched headboard, the curved lamp, arched curtain drape, a neat way of the production design to subtly tell us that this story is about a woman, Marie, trying to work out her own sexual feelings towards someone who is bi gender. Now when Andre and Kate are investigating the noises, it was a nice touch that he uses his powers to open this door handle because he has no idea what kind of gross shit has been smeared on that doorknob.
I'm not touching that thing.
Yeah, what were those two people even doing in there? I don't know, and I don't want to know it.
None of my business. It's none of my business.
And then we get to my favorite side story in this episode, Emma waking up as a giant passed out in a pool covered with a pool tarp. Now, in the old days, to find out what you did last night, you had to go through your pockets for receipts. But these days, I guess you just go on social media to find video of yourself. You people live in horrifying times, and this is where Emma sees herself chugging kegs. Now, this is another storytelling technique that Gen V does really well, how it tells its stories through the lens of social media. Most of the time, it's how teens use social media, like when the stretchy armed girl used it to express fake grief. But the idea of the kids being rated based on their social media presence is a lot like gathering likes or followers. The happiest we've ever seen Emma in this show is when she finally cracks through this elite social media barrier.
The top 100!
And there's also moments like this, or when Annie quit the 7, where the story of this universe is literally told through the lens of social media. Then Emma gives us the backstory of her first time growing.
Known ever since the Buster Beaver incident. Google at your own peril. My mom called me a monster and then made me swear never to do it again.
Buster Beaver is, of course, the Chuck E. Cheese-esque restaurant where Black Noir hid out in season 3 of The Boys.
Remember when you were 9 and you hid in that ball pit right over there?
But this is also reminding us that her mom is an almond mom, a woman who regulates her daughter's diet so her child won't appear to be too fat or too skinny.
You are on your own now. You need to be careful about your calorie intake, okay? Are you keeping your food log?
And in this episode, we learned that her mom wanted to keep her small or controllable. I mean, maybe her mom wanted her to stay safe and not go out and fight crime, but the underlying message here is that her mother limited her full potential in an attempt to control her. So Emma's arc this season has been about believing in herself and to learn to overcome her mother's expectations of who she should be. Also paints like a really sad picture, like this cute little girl Emma at a Buster Beaver party just eating too much cake and scaring the hell out of all the parents and children there. The show doesn't really do flashbacks, but I would have loved to have seen a flashback of that.
Give it to me.
And so, to recuperate, Emma drinks this A-Train branded water. In fact, there are lots of touches like this around the house, like this superhero square sign, because who didn't steal a street sign when they were in college? Yeah, I never did. Me neither, because I was uncool. Next to this table of blurred out paraphernalia here, there is a Dawn of the Seven Collector's Cut cup, probably straight from the movie theater, Starlight poster on the wall next to the stolen Highway 420 sign, and notice that this is the same Starlight costume that Vought forced her to wear. It was all sexy, so it would appeal to kids in college dorm rooms. And in the background here we see a stolen campus security sign, a black noir that reads, "No looky-loos." And another Dawn of the Seven cup is right here. And later outside we do see a poster of translucent vodka that reads, "They'll never see me coming." Notice the banner is pretty faded because translucent's been dead for over a year, and this is an old advertisement. Although later we do see Jordan drinking this same brand of vodka, so maybe they kept selling it in honor of translucent. And then Sam shows up.
Hey, is he immune to Kate's powers? Because he didn't forget anything.
No, I don't think he's immune because we do see her calm him down in the flashback. I think that what happened is Sam just got away before she could use her powers on him. He's clearly been through this before.
They made you forget.
This episode also starts to show us just how powerful Marie really is. She can not only control her blood and the blood of others, but she can also sense blood. She can sense a clot in her neck, and she can even tell Emma when she's about to get her period.
Wait, when am I gonna get my period again?
Which reminded me of one of my favorite gags from Scary Movie 3.
Your period starts in 3, 2, 1.
Then we go back to the lab where we learn a key piece of information.
I am this close to perfecting the virus. A viable way to control them for good.
Now this makes total sense for this universe, and it could be a major plot point for The Boys season 4 or even 5. So in season 1 of The Boys, it's made pretty clear in the first episode that the only reason the Supes don't run the world is because they care too much about what people think. In this way, the corporation Vought uses social media and marketing to manipulate the Supes just as much as they manipulate the ordinary person. And we see in this show that same thing happens with kids constantly worried about their rankings and ratings. But in season 3, Homelander finally just said the quiet part out loud.
I'm stronger, I'm smarter, I'm better. You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me.
And that led to him brazenly killing a man in broad daylight and then being cheered for it.
Yeah! Yeah!
Now in this season we have gotten mentions of Homelander's upcoming trial, showing that humans are now getting scared of the Supes. So humans now need some element of control. So if humans invent a virus that can kill the Supes, then the Supes will need treatment. Kind of like Chris Rock said.
Hey Kurt, cause ain't no money in the cure. The money's in the medicine.
And maybe the name of the show, Gen V, is a reference to this virus. Like this could be the first generation of Supes to contract this virus and who live under the full control of Vought. But this scheme is also teasing the #1 mystery of this season: who is Marie's benefactor? I got a theory on that makes perfect sense and sets up The Boys season 4, which I'm going to go over a little later in the video. So they work out that all of this memory loss could have been caused by Rufus, whose name is a play on the drug roofie, or as they call it in Arrested Development, a forget-me-now.
What's a forget-me-now?
They're pills that create a sort of temporary forgettingness.
This is flunitrazepam. It's a roofie.
Kate even tells this story about Rufus sexually assaulting her, which could be true. I mean, she did force him to hit himself in the crotch and the quad.
Buy yourself a nice Louisville Slugger. Bring it right back to the quad and swing that bat as hard as you can into your nuts. And every time you swing, yell Jumanji.
But on the other hand, deflecting blame to Rufus does take the heat off of her. Now the show is dealing with a lot of heavy issues that teenagers are actually dealing with: suicide, sexual assault, eating disorders, social media, bullying, but it is all set in this fantastical world, so maybe it makes it easier for people to watch and identify that these are real problems that people are actually struggling with. And then Emma returns to the dorm and is shocked to find out that when she goes big, people love her.
No, you got that big soup energy.
And by the way, nice tag here from the song Born With It. A song that celebrates natural charm and talent, just like Emma is learning to unleash her own hidden talent in school. When Marie and Jordan foot chase Rufus, the song is Control by Amy and the Sniffers. Now the song has interesting lyrics that apply to Rufus, like I control, it's the reason I exist, alluding to how Rufus's only use is his powers. And the song also says, I like proving people wrong, I'll probably die alone. In this episode, Rufus proves that they're wrong about their assumptions about him, and he probably will die alone because he's a rapist piece of shit. And they set up this foot chase really well. He is running from Marie because she made his groin explode last episode, but he runs into Andre's room where he activates the emergency shutters that are probably the standard in all God U rooms. The students are probably told these shutters are to protect them from attack, but it's actually to protect others in case one of them has a meltdown or they need to contain them. Going back to the idea of trying to control the Supes with a virus. This also goes back to the unfortunate trend of teenagers killing themselves in dorm rooms, which was alluded to in the first episode when the dorm windows did not open.
Oh, they don't open. Or break. I guess kids were jumping out and flying off.
But then Andre wakes up in a trance getting a Homelander meal from the Vought Burger in the Student Union, which you can see on the virtual campus tour on the website. Now it's also appropriate that Rufus sends Andre to get a Homelander meal because, remember, he and his boys are big Homelander fans, with Rufus even wearing a Keep America Safe Homelander hat in episode 2. And then Emma finds the Stardust Diner shirt, believing Sam's story, while Sam hallucinates Emma wearing that shirt. And what comes next is one of the top 5 action sequences in the boys' universe, the puppet fight. Now notice how the security team are all what we call rod and hand puppets. They're operated with one hand in the mouth and then the other hands are worked with rods.
Yeah, like Kermit.
Exactly, but Sam is what we call a live hand puppet, like Cookie Monster or Ernie, because this gives him greater dexterity and control to rip out puppet guts. But it also shows that the Sam puppet is superhuman compared to the security guard puppets because he can do things that the others can't. There are so many glorious touches here, like how the blood is sparkling confetti, how the dead guards have X's on their eyes, and my favorite was the brain guy. You know, this one. The song in the fight is Skeleton Crew by Lovecraft, and once again, it's got some really on-the-nose lyrics. Dance, 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 like how this is a ballet of dancing violence, and trance, 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 because Sam is experiencing a hallucination. The lyrics are about a ghost named Skeleton Sam, like the name in this episode, Sam. And they say, he's the graveyard legend of the dancing game. Rumor has it he invented how to knock 'em dead. He's the reason we all say, break a leg. And then we go from his hallucination of Emma wearing the Stardust Diner shirt to the real Emma putting on the same shirt, showing how his hallucinations are all kind of grounded in reality. Also, notice this rack filled with Emma's tiny doll clothes. Best character on the show. Emma says,
"Why the are you scratching your neck like Tyrone Biggums?"
And that's a reference to a crackhead character from the Chappelle Show.
I'm here for the same reason you is, man. I want some crack.
So she pulls out this tracker, which is similar to the one that Translucent and all members of the Seven have embedded inside of them. In Kate's room, we see a poster of Andre's dad, Polarity, just as we get the big Pepsi twist of the episode.
I'm so sorry.
What?
So then we see the Dean has been manipulating Kate the same way she was manipulating Marie, by becoming a proxy mother to her.
I knew that, and I'm sorry, sweetheart. I know what I've asked you to do is difficult.
Remember, after Kate caused the death of her brother, her mom stopped touching her.
My mom never touched me again.
And when you go back and look at all of this, there were clues littered throughout the series. When we find out, for instance, that Kate dropped her major to focus on management so she could manage Golden Boy's career. And now we know that was really because the Dean wanted someone to be able to control Golden Boy. Luke also saw visions and flashes of the trees that were near Sam's room, because in the past, he must have found Sam in the basement, but Kate made him suppress those memories. But we also see that Kate cannot erase memories, she just tells people to forget things. That's why Luke's memories kept bubbling up to the surface. Also, when Luke was told that Sam killed himself, Kate refused to use her powers to make him feel better. This made her look like a good person who had emotional intelligence, but really, she needed Luke to remember this grief so he wouldn't go looking for Sam. This also explains why she went with Luke to Sage Grove. She was on a mission to calm Sam down, and it explains why she wanted to use her powers on Tech Knight during the interview, because the Dean ordered her to try to manipulate him. Now, as this is being revealed, Andre and Kate are watching a show about another soup with mental powers, the Mesmerizer. Now, this is a show that starred Mesmer, played by Haley Joel Osment. Now, the show is about a child actor who uses his powers to help the police solve crimes, and you'll remember that Mesmer was manipulated by both the boys and Homelander in season 1 of The Boys. When Emma enters the drive-in, this newspaper on the window looks a lot like Billy Butcher, and then she walks by posters for Payback, the Avengers-type team that was in season 3 of The Boys, Clueless, and a movie called Race to Death. Now, I'll assume this is about some other speedster soup who was popular before A-Train. And then, finally, Kate comes clean, and Andre gives her the worst insult possible.
Monster.
So this is what Kate feared most about herself after she inadvertently killed her little brother, that her powers made her a terrible person, a monster. Her mother never touched her again, and that's why it's so important that another mother figure, the Dean, tells her,
"Helping people is your gift, Kate."
And the credits are played with another on-the-nose song, I Put a Spell on You, because Kate has essentially been enchanting all of her friends this entire time. But now the question I have is, who is the mysterious guardian angel who is watching over Marie?
She has a benefactor, and because of that, she's strictly off limits.
Oh, is it Homelander?
I don't think so. So look at what we know about Marie. She was orphaned, and she grew up in the Red River Orphanage. We don't even know if Homelander knows about this orphanage. And I also don't see Homelander taking this much of an interest in the powers of another soup. Homelander's whole deal is that he believes that he is the most powerful, he is all-powerful, and he wouldn't need someone else's powers for anything. No, I think that she is being groomed and recruited by a human who has already done this before, Stan Edgar.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Edgar was the former CEO of Vought, played brilliantly by Giancarlo Esposito.
I can't lash out like some raging entitled maniac. That's a white man's luxury.
Now, in the past, he adopted Victoria Newman from the Red River School, and he raised her like a daughter. Now, I think part of the reason he did this was because her head-popping power could have been a check against Homelander. And in Season 3, Homelander and Victoria Newman forced Edgar out of Vought.
Provided evidence of crimes committed within Vought by CEO Stan Edgar.
But that doesn't mean that Edgar is totally out or that he isn't planning how to get back in. Now, I said in our Episode 1 breakdown that I thought that Marie would make a great secret weapon against Homelander. If she can control blood, then she could pull his blood out through his eye sockets or collapse his lungs or make his heart explode. So I think that Stan Edgar pulled some strings to get Marie accepted into God U.
Yeah, but Brinks had her expelled.
You're being expelled.
That's true. He did have her expelled, but he did this on his own. But I think the Dean would have soon reversed that decision because Brinks was not told that Marie was basically untouchable. See, I think Edgar would have manipulated events to get Marie into the Seven so she could be as close to Homelander as possible as a secret assassin. But what do you guys think? Who is the mysterious benefactor? What's going to happen next on this show? Do you think Kate was right? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments or at me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe, smash that bell for alerts. For Screen Crush, I'm Ryan Airy.